Hi, I'm Mark Cunningham with Grace Property Management, and did you know that this is true? Come January 1, 2019, if you own a rental property within the city of Denver, you will be required by law to accept Section 8 tenants as applicants. Now, how this has come about is the city of Denver very recently passed a change in addition to what they consider protected status. This is, HUD guidelines as far as things you can't discriminate against, right? Like race, religion, those types of things. Well, they added for the city of Denver, they added another protected class as it relates to housing. And that protected class is source of income. So what that means is for an applicant applying to rent your property, you can no longer say that you are taking their source of income into consideration as you're qualifying them. In the past, you could do that. What that meant legally is you could say, no, I choose not to rent to you because your income is coming from the government, because it's a HUD subsidized program. City of Denver doesn't like that because there's, of course, a housing shortage, and it's hard for folks with lower income to get approved to rent rental property. So this is a solution the City of Denver is proposing, and they have actually proposed it, and they've approved it. So come January 1, if you have a rental property in the City of Denver, and if an applicant calls and says, do you take Section 8 housing? Your response needs to be, to stay legal, yes, we do take Section 8 housing in this rental property. Now, this is only the city of Denver thus far. Here's a couple pieces of guidance or tips on how to deal with that if you have a rental property in the city of Denver. Number one, it's no longer called Section 8. So you probably will not hear the term Section 8 any longer. Different counties call it different things. Unison Housing Partners, Housing Choice Voucher. Section 8 just has too many negative connotations, so they're changing that program name in many municipalities. So you'll want to be aware of the different types of programs that they're now titling it. Second thing, you need to remember that the applicant still must qualify and meet your existing criteria. Now, this is going to be a challenge because most Section 8 applicants are not going to be able to meet most property management companies' standard criteria when it comes to scoring. If they could meet the criteria, they wouldn't need to be on the housing voucher program. So the challenge is, how do you approve them? How do you process them through your system and ensure that you're giving them a fair processing because they're on Section 8 housing or voucher program, and still come out and approve or disqualify them appropriately? This is the challenge that we're facing as an industry right now because we want to be fair with this. We need to ensure, though, that they meet the other qualification aspects of the application. So you can still disqualify them. You can turn them down and say, no, your particular application was not approved for this property. You didn't meet our criteria, but you still must consider them. You still must process them and give them a fair screening through your process. Now, number three, remember, you cannot deny based on their source of income. So that means regardless of where their income comes from, you must allow that and not to penalize them because of that. So if they get their income from a trust fund, if they get their income from grandma, if they get their income from a different housing voucher program that's federal, that's state, it doesn't matter. If they get their income from a church that's subsidizing them, you cannot take the source of income into consideration as you're processing that application. Now, HUD, both on the federal level as well as the Colorado Division of Civil Rights on the state level, is going to be enforcing this. So what that means is they're going to be shopping, and they're going to be determining and making sure that PM companies and landlords both are not wavering from this. So they're going to be calling property management companies. They're going to be calling landlords, individual landlords, when they see your ad listed online for a property for rent, and they're going to say, will you take Section 8 or will you take a housing voucher? Your response needs to be yes, because if you say no, you're going to get yourself in trouble, which you don't want to do. So this plays out in many, many ways. There's a lot of nuances about this law that are going to have to be figured out between the state. Give us a call. We'd be happy to offer some advice and thoughts on this. Whether you like the Section 8 program or not is irrelevant. Come January 1 in Denver, you may no longer refuse to work with applicants based upon their source of income. Give us a call, Grace Property Management. We'd love to be able to provide further assistance to you if this is something you're dealing with.